Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa and I am the owner and creator of Lather and Loop, where I make handmade macrame items as well as soap, bath bomb, shower steamer, scrubs, you name it. Started this hobby of soap making about a year ago just to kind of dip my toes into something new. And today I wanted to go over how to make some cold process soap. This hobby or this soap was actually very intimidating for me at first because there's a lot more science behind it than what you'd think. I spent probably a good month or so watching videos trying to nail the process down, and so today I wanted to make a batch with you. Now I live in a small town. I have a 1-bedroom tiny apartment with a 2-year-old and 2 dogs, so it's pretty hectic here. I don't have a lot of space and I also don't have a lot of money to dump into fancy equipment. So I wanted to make a video that may be more relatable to others that may have a similar situation as me and show you that you can do this from your own home and it's not as hard as you think. So let's go over some of the tools that you may need first. To start off, you're gonna definitely need a scale. So everything in soap making is by weight, not by like size, I guess. I don't know if that's the word for it. But so you need a scale. I got that postal scale on Amazon. I'll link all of my tools down below as well so you can see what I have. You'll also need a stick blender, something like this. I don't have my attachment on it, but just to mix all your oils together. You'll need a thermometer. I like the laser thermometers. You will need a mixing bowl to mix all of your oils in, and make sure it holds a lot because you're going to be putting a lot of oils in here depending on the size of your mold. You will need some pouring pitchers, simple like this, especially if you are going to do different colors, different layers in your soap. You'll need your actual soap mold, and you want to make sure you know the size of your soap mold. You'll need a soap cutter to cut your bars afterwards. You'll need some gloves because you want to make sure everything is sanitary. Make sure you don't get any of that sodium hydroxide on your hands. You'll need some sort of like eye protection. You may hear my little one in the background. You can just disregard that. A mask, because sodium hydroxide, when you're mixing it with water, it'll come up and those fumes can be very irritating to your lungs. So you want to make sure that you protect yourself at all costs. You also want to make sure that you're wearing long sleeves when working with it because you don't want your skin exposed to it at all. It can burn you. Then you'll also want a spatula to scrape your oils out of the bowl. Make sure you're getting every last drop of it because this stuff isn't cheap and we don't need to be wasting any. So now that we have all that covered, let's go ahead and start making some soap. I have already made up my lye water here. I made it up earlier because it does take a bit to cool down. Taking the temp now, it's about 104. I don't know if you can see that. So we want your lye water to get down to about room temperature. We are also melting down some shea butter here. Next, we add our hard butters and oils into a little bowl so we can melt it down. I used the double boiling method on just a pan on the stove. I am adding in my shea butter, and then I'm also going to add in some coconut oil. The coconut oil that I get comes in a microwave safe bag from Brambleberry, which is not the most user friendly, so I was struggling a bit to get it out here, and I needed quite a bit. While the shea butter and coconut oil are melting down in a pot, I'm going to go ahead and add in all of my liquid oils so they are all ready to go. The first one I'm going to do is castor oil, which really helps give that bar a nice lather. And you only want to do about a 5% of castor oil in your soap. That's generally like the perfect range. The next oil I'm going to go ahead and add is going to be my hemp seed oil. Now you'll see that this one makes it very green, and in the end you'll also see though it doesn't make a huge difference in the bar because when you mix in the lye it really lightens everything up. Hemp seed oil has amazing skin benefits. And now we're going to go ahead and just dump a bunch of olive oil in here. My soap recipe calls for a ton of olive oil. That is the main ingredient. Now we'll just set this aside while we wait for our other ingredients to melt. Okay, so now we have our melted shea butter and coconut oil, and we're gonna go ahead and combine this with all the other oils. Shea butter does get a little warm when we melt it, so it's at 102 right now. This is at 69. So I'm gonna combine them and see what the temp is then. Let's see. So about 83, and when I temp my lye water, I'm about 87. So you want them about the same temperature within about a 5-degree difference. Okay, so we have our shea butter and coconut oil combined with our other oils. I'm gonna go ahead and weigh out our fragrance oil now. I'm just gonna weigh it in then one of these little pitchers. And now we have our combined oils and butter. And I'm gonna go ahead and combine our lye water with it. Now we stick blend. Okay, so we're picking up to a tray. So I'm gonna go ahead, add my fragrance, mix that up a little bit more. I think this is where I went wrong on my batch. I probably should have added my fragrance in a bit sooner. So with this batch, I don't have like an actual peach color, so I'm gonna go ahead and just mess around with 2 colorants. I'm gonna go ahead and use the California Poppy. I'm also going to use Salmon Pink. Here I am just dividing up my batter into 2 other pitchers for my 2 colors, and then I'm gonna leave some of the base color, that normal color you see now, in the bowl for my base layers. And I totally just eyeballed this part, which probably isn't what I should do, but I do. If my batter wasn't accelerated so much and was a bit more fluid, this would have mixed a lot easier, which is why I actually have to go in later with a spoon and get it all mixed up off the sides. So now we're gonna pour it into our mold, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with my base here. And again, the pour is not my favorite because the batter did accelerate with the fragrance and it's not as fluid as I wanted it to be. So I make sure I shimmy it side to side, and then I will also pat it up and down on the countertop to make sure those air pockets rise. Here I'm just going to go ahead and swirl in the colors together. And then you'll just go ahead and keep layering your colors however you want it. It's a lot of fun to be able to practice with designs, colors, different types of swirls and everything. I eventually want to get into more artisan soaps, more intricate designs, but for now these are just really soothing to me. And then we're going to clean up the edges here before we do our spoon sweeps. I'm just going to take a spoon. And this is my most favorite part of soap making. It is really hard to stop doing designs with the spoon on the top once you get going, because it's so satisfying. If this would have been a little bit more liquidy batter, it would have looked so much better. Now I'm going to let this sit about probably 48 hours, and then we will come back for the cut. And this is what happens when your soap gets too hot during saponification process in the mold. It can cause it to crack, which does not affect the actual quality of the soap itself. It's just a cosmetic appearance thing. So I added some flowers on top to kind of distract it from that crack. And now it is finally time to unmold this beautiful soap and get into cutting it. Here I am just gently peeling off the edges of the mold on this soap. With the combination of oils that I use, it is a little bit sticky. So I want to figure out another recipe that actually will help that soap harden, because this has been sitting in the mold for about 36 hours. So I wasn't expecting it to be as sticky to the silicone mold still. But look how shiny and glossy it is. The corners did not come out very well because it is so sticky. Something that you may notice in these bars are those small little air pockets, and that is because when I poured my fragrance into my soap, it accelerated a little bit, and you see in the beginning how it was kind of a blob and not so much as a fluid, and that's where these little pockets are coming from. And now we have it. Our soap bars are all cut and left to cure, so they'll just sit out for about 4 to 6 weeks to evaporate any excess water or oils and get a really nice hard solid bar. If I used them now, it would be safe, but it would be too mushy. Thank you everyone for taking the time to watch my video. Please go ahead and like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and then I will go ahead and keep posting some more DIYs. I'm so thankful that you bared with me on this recording process. This is my first video. That's all for now. I'll see you later.